Welcome back, adventurers, once again to Let's Play Chaos Head. And in the last episode, the New Gen Crisis has claimed a sixth victim. A young woman who apparently was driven to devour her own right hand, or rather the flesh of her own right hand, which is yet again very gruesome. Meanwhile, Takumi is here quieting his mind, given the fact that, well, at this point in time, his public and personal life have pretty much been completely and absolutely destroyed by the debacle of the television crews over at the Shibuya Scramble. But then again, I think he doesn't really have any reason to visit Suimei Academy right about now. And unfortunately, he's still relying on Sarah to bail him out mentally. Surely Saratan would say,
そんなに苦しむぐらいならもう学校になんか行くのやめればいいっしょ
I'd started to think just a little that maybe I should. Seems like he's prepared to burn his minimum attendance shift chart. I'd heard that the worsening of public order had led to an increase in Shibuya students who had voluntarily left school. I thought for a while now that I didn't care much about not being able to graduate, and as a matter of fact I might as well leave school right now. Even so, I was going to school, despite shouldering a risk of encountering Yua. I think at this point in time, Yua Kusunoki is not who we should be wary of over at Suimei Academy. I'd finished drinking the coke I bought from the vending machine along the way and got up from the bench. Stop fooling yourself. I didn't want to go to school, but I didn't want to quit either. So we're torn between two minds. Because if I quit school, I wouldn't be able to see Rimi. Now, because we were classmates, we would automatically meet as long as I went to school. But if that connection went away, of course we could make phone calls or go meet face to face. But these things required proactive behavior, and they certainly wouldn't happen automatically. And I definitely couldn't behave proactively, less so after the events of the previous night. In fact, I hadn't seen Rimi for a while now.
私が一緒にいてあげる
She said those words, and yet she was not here. Although in her defense, the last time she was watching Ayase being taken to the hospital. Even though Rimi had promised me so, I hadn't had any contact from her for over 10 days. That's definitely a bit odd. But I imagined that maybe she'd seen me disgraced on TV, and I'd fallen out of her good graces. It made me horribly frightened, and sad and lonely. Didn't get that impression from Rimi before, that she'd do something like that. No one, not even Nanami, came to see me. I was slandered in massive online threads. I cowered in the fear of Shogun and Yua's shadows. Though I said I didn't want to meet with anyone, that solitude was agonizing. I wanted Rimi to come take a look at me. I wanted her to say, "It must have been hard for you," and hold me gently. When you got down to it, I was letting her spoil me. Almost to the point of letting her take over from Nanami, of all people. But it was her fault. Rimi was the one who taught me about three-dimensional warmth. After I'd known that warmth once, it made me want to reach for it again and again. I could no longer find such peace in the second dimension or in delusions. I couldn't stand it just by immersing myself in daydreams. I want to see Rimi. But will she appear? Will she be there? I didn't see any tremendous transformations when I passed through the school gates. Rather, no one noticed I was there. Either they're returning to the usual routine, or they really don't want to notice that Takumi has just arrived. Once I entered the school building and climbed the stairs, an unfamiliar girl passing me said, "Ah," and looked at me with faint sympathy in her eyes. When I reached the hallway with my classroom in it, several of the windows there were broken. I sensed whispers and frank gazes from all around me. Well, so much for our routine of being the heir. At that point, I had a bad premonition. My wishful thinking was on the verge of being ground to pieces. Yet all I wanted to do was meet Rimi, and so I opened the classroom door. The silence lasted for about 10 seconds. Everyone was watching me, and all of them had gone rigid. Yeah, that premonition just got worse. Looking down, I walked through the quiet classroom until I got to my seat. Taking that as his cue, a thuggish guy in the last row, I didn't know his name, became the first to raise his voice.
おい、西条、超能力見せてくんね。
That single sentence set the classroom stop time back in motion.
それ言ったらかわいそうじゃね？だって有利が認めた男なんだぜ。そうそう、俺テレビ見てたぜ。すげえよ、あのやらせ超能力者。
西条もどうせやらせなんでしょ。
大きい人形と小さいお人形を抱えてただけだもんね。
やめとけって。西条は病気なだけだっつうの。そっとしといてやれ。
Well, it's nice to know that not everyone in Takumi's class is a complete and total jerk.
だってあいつ空飛べるらしいじゃん。あとなんだっけ？投資？
私投資されたらどうしよう。服もスケスケで裸見られる。
西条変態じゃん。
お、やっべ、こっち見た。石にされる前に目をそるぜ。大丈夫。実際のところただのキモートだから。
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Some of the students here who probably kept quiet about this have suddenly had free rein to voice their displeasure of Takumi. Though Takumi wasn't completely paranoid whenever he came to this class. This blows. The situation I feared more than any other. The delinquents honing in on me as their target. No one had forgotten the disturbance I caused in just a week. Right now I was the punchline representing all of Japan. A boy who had passed out, cradling a figure, after making a big deal about having special paranormal powers. A deal that was made without our knowledge and consent. It wouldn't help if I had asserted that I'd never claimed to have a ESP. In truth, it no longer mattered what I did. The story known as the facts had spread throughout Japan, and however many 100,000 people had recognized it as fact. No one could take it back. Not anyone. Not me, not TV stations, not Shogun. I was an all too embarrassing, self-proclaimed Esper. I was an all too repulsive otaku boy. There wasn't a single person who would look upon me favorably. I doubt even Daisuke would deign to hang out with Takumi at this point. I, who so hated TV programs that made a mockery of otaku, had tainted otaku culture like this. I couldn't use ESP or anything of the sort. I couldn't fly, I didn't have X-ray vision, nor telekinesis. I hadn't been able to get my hands on a D-sword either. I was a piece of crap incapable of rescuing my little sister with my own two hands. I was an otaku, plain and simple, with no skills aside from my knowledge of anime and games. There was no helping it. You actually have a bit more knowledge than that now, given what you were researching before, but I digress. Trying to keep from having a mental breakdown, I looked around for deliverance, for Rimi. Then my eyes met Mizumi-kun's. Right away, Yeah. He averted his eyes. Now, he probably actually doesn't dislike Takumi. In fact, he probably feels a great deal of sympathy towards Takumi like that one other student. Unfortunately, at this point in time, if Daisuke were to associate with Takumi from this point forward, his own pride and reputation would be down the toilet just like Takumi's. Oh yeah, if he acted friendly with the likes of me, even Mizumi-kun would be shunned by the rest of the class. Yeah, that's right, it was only natural. In any case, a gross otaku like me and a pretty boy like him, we lived in different worlds. It was strange enough that we'd gotten along until now. Feeling the thread of crying start to come on, I made my line of sight circle round. As though to cling to her, I searched for Rimi's form. But she wasn't there. Rimi wasn't there. Why? Was she taking the day off? Possibly. At a time like this? Then I'd lost my only method of coming into contact with Rimi. If she never came to this classroom again, I'd probably never be reunited with her for the rest of my life. I had that feeling. It had been the same when she first appeared, completely out of nowhere. One day, out of the blue, Rimi had been in this class. And now, just as suddenly, she was gone. And nobody seems to be the wiser or even care about that fact. Maybe she'd gotten caught up in the earthquake and died? No. No, she's very much alive. I frantically tried to shake away such a negative thought, but I couldn't do it. My mood sank lower and lower. Leaden illusions controlled my heart. Had a girl called Rimi Sakihara ever really existed in the first place? Maybe like Serotan, she was nothing more than a personality I created in my head. I wouldn't be so sure about that. When I thought about it that way, a whole bunch of dots began to connect. Rimi had always appeared to save me, as if by magic, when I most needed her. Rimi had always treated me gently, despite my being a filthy otaku. Did I think a 3D girl so convenient to me, and so ideal for me truly existed? I no longer had any reason to come to school. My sole reason had disappeared. And we have a choice. You know what? We agreed not to do any delusions this time. That's what you said, Takumi. So no delusions today. I was alone, after all. I'd been alone from the start. I wept. Internally, I wept. I fought my hardest to keep from shedding real tears. It was the only semblance of pride I had left, though it was a tiny and worthless pride. It was all I could do to sit at my desk, head hanging, gritting my teeth. Even if I wasn't listening, my classmates' voices entered my ears as they talked. I wanted to run away, but I was petrified by the thought that if I moved around foolishly, they'd take it as a reason to pick a fight with me, although some of them probably wouldn't need a reason. They're just waiting to pick a fight. I should die, every one of them. It's not like I've got anything left to lose, so how about I end my life as it pleases me? I had a go at brightening my mood by murdering the juvies in my head, but it wasn't enough to ease my humiliation. On top of that, the juvies from before were still provoking me in loud noises that resounded throughout the classroom.
お前なんで死なないの？生きてんのきつくね？俺ら手伝ってやろうか。
I think we should blow this popsicle stand, and damned be the consequences. Frantic, I bore it by covering my ears. I wanted to kill them. I wanted to sacrifice them to my D-sword. I imagined the sword I swung splitting their heads, gnawing through their hearts, and cutting their torsos clean in two. Die. I didn't have a D-sword, but I could buy a long butcher knife anywhere. Their lives were worth less than that of a maggot, and I used my own hands to crush the life out of them. Of course, if you did that, you would be a murderer in real life, and you would be arrested. The more I thought about it, the more I felt driven by the urge to do it. Maybe the second I acted so recklessly, the world would reset itself, and my simulation of the choice that leads to an unhappy outcome would come to an end. And I'd return to the previous world. Rimi would be there, just like she was supposed to be. Mizumi would come to chat with me in his friendly way. Everyone would totally forget how I'd shamed myself. Unfortunately, such a convenient outcome is not in our future. No one would mock me. I ought to try it. My mind went dazed. Maybe I had a small fever. The kind of fever you get during growth spurts, or a delusion-induced fever. Not that such a phrase existed, but there is actually something rather unnatural about Takumi's sudden aggression. Meh, whatever. I ought to try it. Even if I couldn't go back to the previous world, they'd only think I was crazy. No, they probably already thought so. I had nothing left to lose, so I didn't care either way. A week ago, when I heard from the nurse that Nanami was alive, I thought, because Nanami was alive, I didn't care about anything else. I didn't give a damn about my life. Yet, we still need to actually see Nanami to prove that this is the case. I wouldn't mind if they treated me like an oddball and carted me off to the hospital. It would be nice if it were the same hospital as Ayase. Where was Ayase hospitalized anyway? I think we already know. The jail-esque hospital she'd been admitted to in the past? Even that would be fine. It'd be somewhat preferable to this school without Rimi. I lost the ability to suppress my magma-like urges. I slowly rose from my seat. I couldn't prevent laughter from swelling in me. Everyone in the class regarded me with strained expressions. Looks like Takumi's been pushed to the breaking point. Don't look. There's no value in looking at someone like me.
価値なら
Suddenly,
あるよ
I heard
あ
a girl's voice.
いっぱいある
On top of that, such an anime voice.
この前飛び降り自殺をしようとした人を助けたのは西条くんだもんだから西条くんにはたくさん価値はあるよ
Someone is talking to Takumi. Who the heck was talking to me? I think that mystery is going to have to wait until the next episode of Let's Play Chaos Head, so when we return we shall find out the answer to said mystery about this weird, mysterious, oddly perky voice. As always, adventurers, until next we meet.